Coach Miranda Minor, ang crypto coach na inyong maaasahan. Coach Miranda Minor, sa cryptocurrency kayo'y gagabayan. Coach Miranda Minor, hangarin na lahat ay matulungan. Pagmamahal at culture of malasakit sa kanya'y mararamdaman.
Maraming salamat guys. I love you 3,000.
Trading is never easy, but who says we cannot have fun? As you grow in this industry, Miranda, surround yourself with people and community that will hold you accountable, grow you as a trader. Mahirap sa una pero I'm sure darating ang panahon you're gonna be very successful. Malayo pa pero malayo ka na, Miranda. I love you 3,000.
Subscribe, like, follow, and share. Sige na please, Miranda. Subscribe, like, follow, and share. Sige na please, Miranda. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you the one and only, the voice that introduced, pitikin kita sa ilong, isang hampas na lang ng palakol, the power of yet. Please, let's give it up to our pambansang crypto coach, Coach Miranda Minor.
Alright! Hello mga Miranda. My name is Coach Miranda Minor and welcome to another edition of our cryptocurrency technical analysis, fundamentals, exclusive interviews, and everything about crypto all in one channel. Kamusta na po, Miranda? Today is April 26, Friday, one day before our flight to New York. So maganda po ang ating exit sa Pilipinas because napakaganda ng topic natin for tonight. Type number 1, kung ikaw ay ready na, pakitawag na po ang mga Miranda in Discord, in Twitter, in Facebook, sa mga communities. Let's all bring them here. Let's all learn, no, in our episode for tonight. Ang ating pong episode for tonight is a product of, naalala ninyo Miranda, nagkaroon tayo ng community crowdsourcing, focus group discussion, survey, tinanong natin ano ba yung gusto nyong magawa, makasama natin, sino ba, no, in our show. And obviously, he is one of those that came out as the top choice. And here you go, we have him in our show for tonight. Ayan. All right, no? So it's a very, very important topic. So hindi ko napapatagalin, mga Miranda. I'm gonna be introducing our guest for tonight. No, obviously he is a distinguished figure in the fintech and blockchain realm. He's currently making an impact as an assistant vice president and head of GCRYPTO at Gcash Mint Globe Fintech Innovations. A role he stepped into the occasion way back November of 2023. Yung kanyang expertise ay crucial in terms of pioneering cryptocurrency integration to the Gcash financial services. Before the role in Gcash, he used to be the country manager of Yield Guild Games, or YGG, from September 2021 to August 2023, where he played a vital role in merging technology with gaming and creating new economic opportunities within the metaverse. Ayan. He used to also be a chief strategy officer for Bloom Solutions. And this is quite new to me. I didn't know this, so now I know. He also is a creative guy, no? He used to write, and he used to be a writer and cartoonist for Bits Online for a little, I think for almost a year in 2017 to 2018. And then finally, this is quite interesting, he used to be a tech columnist at Rappler, no? So a well-known speaker, author, he obviously is excelling in his field. And of course, we only invite people who excel in their field in our show. Hindi. Lahat naman sila magagaling, Miranda. Kailangan mag-invite tayo na mas magagaling pa kay Coach, no? Para lahat tayo matuto. And without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our special guest for tonight. His name is Luis Buenaventura. Hello, Luis. Hello, hello.
Hey everyone, hello, good evening, Coach Miranda. Thank you so much for the invitation to speak here tonight. I'm super looking forward to the show. I think we're gonna have some fun. Medyo nahiya ako ng konti dun sa introduction mo kasi parang CV ko ata yun the last years or something.
Siyempre,
But I appreciate
we
the
need to
invite.
do
I'm
research,
very happy.
diba? Thank you
Sorry?
again, thank you so much, no? And again, we need to do our research on our guest. So again, thank you so much for being in our show. This is a dream come true to many of my Kamirandas, and maraming salamat again at this point in time. Alright, unang-una, no? Sobrang init ng panahon, so mainit din ang topic natin. Alright, so I've given a heads up to my community, Luis, that our topic is gonna be, post-Bitcoin halving, your opinions and insights, obviously on a personal level, and obviously as you represent GCrypto. Maybe for those who don't know you yet, I know I've given an introduction, but maybe give us a little about your role. What do you do for Gcash as a head of crypto, and what made you interested? Maybe kind of go back a bit. What made you interested in cryptocurrency that that you think it led you to your current role today in Gcash? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So I started in cryptocurrencies in 2014. So that's 10 years ago now. I discovered it because I was actually already in the tech startup world. No, I actually had a couple of small startups of my own from way back. And one of the biggest problems that I encountered, kasi I remember this was 10 years ago, no? I remember I was trying to make an e-commerce platform. That was my startup idea. Pero hirap na hirap kami mag-collect ng payments online. Why was that? Well, this was, again, 10 years ago. Gcash was not very popular back then yet. Credit cards continue to still not be very popular in the Philippines, although medyo tumaas na ng konti yung credit card usage since then. And there was no real other way to do online payments unless you had one of those two things, mobile wallet or credit card. And I discovered Bitcoin, and that's kind of what I first thought might be an interesting use case kasi for cryptocurrencies. Kasi here was this money that was existing purely on the internet, and anyone who had access to the internet could buy it, trade it, sell it, use it for payments. So that's kind of how I first discovered Bitcoin. So this was back in 2014. I ended up starting my own company in 2015. This was called Bloom Solutions. So sila yung exchange. No? So this is where most of my crypto exchange experience comes from. And 2015 was a very long time ago. Many of the things that we take for granted now were not around back then. So I'll give you an example. 2015, that was when Ethereum launched. So kakaumpisa pa lang ng Ethereum back then. Wala pang Binance. Binance launched a couple years after that. So I kind of got to experience the birth of many of these big brands, these big names, that we really kind of just assume have been around for a really long time. But yeah, it turns out Binance not even that old, no? Because they're only 6 years old. So yeah, I got to kind of see how this whole industry grew from all the way back then. I've written 2 books about crypto. One of them, the more recent one, is called The Little Bitcoin Book. This is available on Amazon and it's quite cheap. It's like a small little book na ano lang. Hindi siya technical. It actually just explains why Bitcoin is important. And I wanted to write a book kasi that my father would appreciate, so I made it not technical. Anyway, so I co-wrote it with some other people in the Bitcoin industry. It's currently available in 15 languages. And if I'm not mistaken, it has about 600 reviews on Amazon. So it's a fairly well-received book.
Nice.
Anyway, I don't know why I kind of went to so much detail on that one, but I guess I just wanted to talk about how I am a big believer in this stuff.
Right.
I'm not doing it purely for financial gain. Of course, crypto is finance, but like the thing that really motivates me is I keep looking for these technologies kasi that I believe Filipinos can use. And Filipinos are in a very interesting position in the world. We're not the poorest of the poor in terms of you compare us to certain other countries, no?
yeah.
But we're also not the richest of the rich, no? So we're kind of somewhere in the middle. And there are some things that work well in this country. There are some things that don't work well. But in general, I feel like if I can help educate Filipinos on how cryptocurrencies could change the way that they approach certain things in life. I feel like that could be a very impactful way to use my time and my career and all of that stuff. So that's kind of how I ended up here. No, I took a job with Gcash in November last year lang, so I'm only about 6 months in.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I did that was because, well, one, naniniwala kasi ako na mag-uumpisa ng bull market. So I wanted to position myself with the largest company with the biggest reach in the Philippines, no? And in terms of the installed user base of Gcash, we're kind of the leader for stuff like that. There's like it's basically like nearly 100% of Filipinos have Gcash.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be part of an organization where I could potentially, reach as many people as possible. Kasi before that, I was with startups. I had like my own small thing. I think you'll probably agree with this, Coach Miranda, no? Na one of the biggest challenges when you're starting a new idea or new brand is reaching more people.
That's right.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It takes so much time and effort, right?
your go-to-market.
Effort, time, money, resources. Meanwhile, Gcash is here na eh, right? They already have all of those people because they did all of that stuff many years ago. Na build up na nila yung user base nila. So, ayun, that's where I'm at right now. I'm leading the GCRYPTO sub app within the Gcash app. So if you have to look for it, it's inside the G Invest folder in your Gcash app. And yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm happy to talk to the details, but yeah, please, that's it. Sorry, ang haba ng introduction ko, but
no,
yes, there you
that's
go.
fine. Those are really good information because we wanted to understand, profiles of crypto pioneers in the Philippines. Obviously, without people who espoused these types of knowledge before, hindi na malalaman ng mga bagong, join, mga 2024 rookies in cryptocurrency, no? And I'm sure that our show can probably last, in days, just talking about, walking to the memory lane of crypto. And obviously, along that line, Luis, no? So obviously, you've been in the space for quite some time. You've seen many halvings already. 2016 is there, 2020 was there, and then 2024. I would like, to kind of pick your brain on this, no? Kasi marami nagsasabi, ito yung effect ng Bitcoin halving. Before we go with the Bitcoin halving effect to the price dynamics, can you give us a little bit of an explanation on how do you see, what is Bitcoin halving for you? Why does it occur, and why is it important?
Sure. Okay. So the very unique thing about Bitcoin kasi is na not all of the Bitcoins that we are expecting to be issued into the world, hindi pa sila lahat na i-issue eh. They're still in holding, no? So if you are a Bitcoin miner, you are rewarded with Bitcoin every time that you successfully mine. This is very technical na, but when you mine a block, you get some free Bitcoin. Right. That's part of the reward for you, but it's also the way that more Bitcoin is issued out into the world. Now, nung umpisa, when Bitcoin was not worth all that much, when it was only worth a few dollars, mataas yung reward na yon, 50 Bitcoins for every block. No? Now that sounds ridiculous because 50 Bitcoins is times 60,000, like $3 million, right? So that's way too much money now. So over time, pababa yung reward na yon, and that was kind of part of the design of Bitcoin. But what we know for sure is once we hit a certain number of Bitcoin, in the case of Bitcoin, it's 21 million. Once we get to that point, there will no longer be any more Bitcoins added to the total supply, right? So the idea of the halving is it is a milestone event. It happens every 4 years. And that is the moment na bumababa yung reward. And we call it the halving kasi nahahati siya. So yeah, you're right na I've lived through, this is my third one na. So I started in 2014, but I missed the first one. So ang nakita ko na halving was 2016. So that was from 25 Bitcoins for every block, or every block is roughly 10 minutes. No? So for every 10 minutes, you get 25 Bitcoin. It went from 25 to 12.5. And then again in 2020, it went from 12.5 to 6.25, and then so on. So now we're at three Bitcoins na lang per block. And it'll just keep getting smaller and smaller every 4 years. So and that's the overall design, yeah.
Yeah, so technically from a supply perspective, it's controlled, so to speak, control
Yes.
that you don't overprint, unlike US dollars or currencies. You can print as much as you can. So does that kind of influence the optics right now na medyong store of value ang Bitcoin just because of how it's being minted, how it's being programmed from a halving perspective? Thoughts, please.
Yeah, so it's no accident na yung terminology ng Bitcoin is we use words like mining or miners, 'di ba? Ginagaya niya kasi yung supply ng gold. And when Satoshi was designing Bitcoin, he was designing something that he felt like it would be a more stable currency than the dollar or any other fiat, no? And he was modeling it a little bit after gold. The thing about gold kasi is that it grows at a very steady supply, no? It's roughly about 1% per year yung growth ng gold. And it's been kind of like that for the last few centuries. So Satoshi wanted to create a digital currency that was similar to that, na medyo very predictable yung supply growth. So it's kind of like that. Now, the store of value idea is obviously yun yung core ng Bitcoin, no? Like, why do you buy Bitcoin? Why do you hold Bitcoin? Well, because we believe that it's going to be a good store of value. This is something that Bitcoin has to keep proving every year, every day. It has to keep proving that you have 0.1 Bitcoin right now. It's still going to be 0.1 Bitcoin tomorrow. It's still going to be 0.1 Bitcoin a year from now, a decade from now, right? So it has to keep proving that.
Right.
Why? Because gold has been doing that for 6,000 years.
Right.
Right.
So Luis, on that, sorry to interrupt you. So on that note, so proving itself, do you think January 11, US SEC approving spot ETF, Hong Kong, backdoor of China approving spot Ethereum, are these concrete examples of adoption leading to it proving itself as a store of value?
All of these things contribute to that.
Okay.
Yes, for sure. There's a lot of different arguments about whether or not is it good for the ecosystem na parang nasa stock market na yung Bitcoin.
Institutions,
diba?
ang dami na. Oo.
Yeah. Is it possible na baka nakokontrol pa lalo yung Bitcoin because there's a lot of large corporations behind these stocks? There's a lot of arguments like that. The way I kind of think about it is, if you wanted a truly global asset, if you wanted to create a truly global asset, you have to allow these things to happen. Because if it was a truly valuable global asset that all of humanity was interested in, natural magkakaroon ng stock trading around that. People will, some people will turn it into a speculative asset.
Right.
Some people will trade it. Some people will hold it like gold nuggets or gold ounces.
Yeah.
There's different ways that people will do it. So I'm a little bit more open to the idea, because if this thing is truly valuable, then everyone should use it in their own way, right? So at least that's kind of how I think about it. So I think that yes, every news where more and more people are adopting Bitcoin or trading it or things like that, that's always positive to me, because that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
Hindi mo pwedeng tayo lang gumagamit, di ba?
Right. No, I kind of agree with you there, kasi and as I was telling my community, the more volatility you'll see now in the picture, obviously not just because of lack of liquidity, because we have liquidity now, we have volume now, but people can somehow, institutions entering, they can quote unquote manipulate, the price of a particular coin with these massive movements, no? So you're right. I 100% agree. There is an institutional impact na tinatawag with them entering and potentially controlling. So talking about controlling, it's a good segue to my question. And we're talking about this offline kanina. Miranda, if you would like to participate in our discussion, please type your comment or comment down below with your questions. I'll find time to read them maya-maya and ask Luis to answer that maya-maya. Ang question natin is, nag-uusap tayo kanina. Nakita natin, nagpadala po. And we're talking about, the most recent hot issue right now. Obviously, the Philippines SEC, November, made pronouncements, bawal na ang Binance, and blah, blah, blah. And then February onwards, here's his history. Yeah. They were very quiet for quite some time, right?
Yes.
Very, very quiet. And then yesterday, nag-send sila ng email sa lahat. Let's talk about that. I want you to talk to our community about Because again, my opinion is, and I would like you to weigh in with your opinion. Tingin ko unang-una walang laman yung email na yon. It's a blank. I mean, kanina you're talking to me offline. Maybe an AI did that, no? For me, there's walang lamang. There's no call to action. It's a matter to appease, no? I mean, I don't even know na, are you talking to SEC already? But, please go ahead. Your insights here, Luis. What's your insight about this email? Go ahead.
So, I mean, I was really disappointed. I was very disappointed that, firstly, bakit ngayon lang? I mean, inintay nyo, so we knew that this was going to happen back in November. So, this is such a long time to wait before you finally say something out in the open. And this is very, very different from the Binance that was, that had a case with the U.S. Department of Justice last year. Yun, as soon as they got the email, they were already instantly, the next day, I think it might have been same day, meron na silang public statements about it.
Right.
But for some reason, pag nagka-problema here in the Philippines, wala eh. 6 months, we waited before they said anything. And
what do you make of that? What do you make of that, Luis? So are they not listening? Go ahead.
I actually think that it shows you how small the Philippine market is compared to the other markets that Binance serves. Kasi look, ultimately Binance is a business. And they have many priorities that they have to take care of. I mean, they have lots of countries that they have to different markets that they have to take care of. And they only have a certain number of people that they can parang deploy and allocate to these different concerns. So what does a company do? They have to prioritize. So obviously, the US is a very big priority for them. Firstly, naka-house arrest yung CEO nila doon. And secondly, they just paid a $4 billion fine in the United States. No? So yeah, I would say that the US is probably at the top of their concerns. And then probably the other markets, Europe, the Middle East, those are big parts of their concerns right now. And I wasn't sure if the Philippines was where it was in their list of concerns. But what this recent email tells me is that we're not very high up because they didn't have to wait that long, right? I mean, they could have said something way earlier than that, but clearly it was not high enough on the list of priorities. And they only finally did it now. And then, as you said, it was such an empty email. It was reassuring us with no solid information.
Yeah. It's an empathy email. Okay, and I just kind of want to share kasi I'm an influencer and I keep on getting, Coach, ipaglaban natin ng Binance, yung access. My 2 cents here is, my 2 satoshis is, I mean, ba't ko paglalaban yung isang company na ayaw magsalita? I mean, why are you going to speak up for them? I'm not their mouthpiece in the first place. And true enough, nung nagkaroon na ng ingay na magsalita na kayo, ang tagal na namin and then eventually they did. So let's kind of, look into this, give this sort of a matured lens as someone who has been here for quite some time. So, ang nangyayari ngayon, ang mga traders, they just repurpose their funds, I would like to get your opinion. Feel free not to answer if you prefer not to answer, but I'd like to ask your opinion. Do you see this expanding to other exchanges? How do you see the landscape based on what's SEC doing nowadays in the Philippines?
Are you asking, is it going to expand
like other exchanges, like Bybit, Bing, X, tingin mo? Susunod sa mga yan, and SEC is just counting their Go ahead.
So I'm 100% sure that they will. Kasi they said that eh. So at least, so you can say what you want about the SEC. At least they mentioned what their intentions are. At least sinabi nila, no? Kasi I think my issue with Binance is I didn't really get a good sense of what their intentions really were.
Right.
In the case of the SEC, in their November announcement, they did say that they gave examples of other unauthorized exchanges.
Right.
Because they were saying that there are many unauthorized exchanges that operate here. Binance is one of the ones that we are looking at. But that wasn't the only one that they talked about. They talked about yung mga FX trading.
Right.
So Okta FX, they mentioned that. Yeah. They also mentioned this other one that was a little bit less well known. I've suddenly blanked on the name, but it was based in Australia. So both of those are no longer accessible also. Yung sa OctaFX, I think yung main OctaFX na .com website, that's not accessible anymore. But I think the Asia one is still accessible. But they are going through this process of doing so. What was the other ones that they mentioned? eToro.
eToro, yeah.
That's a really big one. That's
Yeah.
a really big one.
It's a big
So,
one, yeah.
So, iniisa-isa nila lahat ng mga international exchanges that are unauthorized that are parang promoting here. And I guess yung definition of promoting, I mean, it's not like OctaFX has advertisements on TV. It's not like that, no. I think, but they do have influencers. So they have AOLs and ambassadors na local. So baka yun yung definition nila. So I do think that eventually we will have this same challenge with like maybe the bigger crypto exchanges that are also well known. So maybe Bybit, maybe OKX. But I'm guessing based on what SEC has said in the past. So I don't know what the list is, right? And so I don't want to be quoted on parang, oh, ito na yung next na matitira. I don't know. But I do know that they're going through some kind of list. But they haven't said kasi what the next ones might be.
So when they said these things, I'm just reading, I'm like 10 steps ahead of the letter. If I'm gonna be the trader, they were being asked, so what do we do next? Right? And they were not prescriptive on what to do next. Otherwise, there was even one interview that said, okay, what are they gonna be doing? They did not give any recommendations. What are you gonna be doing with the funds in Binance, right? So, is it because hindi trabaho ng SEC yan, or it's just a matter of memo creating? Oh, sige, gawin nyo to. I mean, what's your opinion there? I mean, kasi mangyayari dyan, Pilipino, maghuhulaan anong gagawin namin. Bawal to, pero anong gagawin namin, di ba?
Yeah. I was actually very critical of, I think I know the interview you're talking about. That was the one that was very recent lang din. They were talking about how, crypto users will find their own way.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, man, that's crazy that you would say something like that on TV, because yung trabaho ng SEC is to protect consumers.
Exactly.
Above all else.
Exactly,
right?
di ba?
Yeah. So it feels slightly irresponsible to just like shut off access to your money.
And don't
Diba?
give recommendations on what to do, and maybe eventually putting their clause again, oy bawal din pala yan. I mean,
yeah. So okay, I guess I should be careful kasi about how critical I actually am, because I mean I do value the relationship with the SEC.
Of course,
so I will say that if I were in the position of the average trader right now, and I understand that this is going to be quite challenging for some people, I would really start looking into decentralized exchanges. Because decentralized exchanges do not belong to businesses. They are organizations of software protocols. So hindi mo siya shut down in any meaningful way. You will always be able to trade in decentralized exchanges. Now, mahirap gawin yon kung sanay ka na sa Binance. You're kind of like expecting na kasing dali lang siya ng Binance. It's not going to be as easy as that. There's going to be some challenges. But like with things like this, and by the way, let's not forget that yung original design ng cryptocurrencies naman was always to be decentralized.
That's right.
Meaning na yung wallet na ginagamit natin to store our coins, wala dapat kumpanya behind that eh. At least yun yung parang ideal version ng crypto, no? Walang, there's no custodian, there's no corporation behind it. It's all software, right? So we can do that with wallets like MetaMask, which is kind of well known here naman. We can do it with decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, which is kind of well known for some people. There's PancakeSwap, there's some other ones, right? So anyway, there's an entire list of this stuff.
Sure.
And it's possible to move all of your trading to these exchanges.
I'm just smiling. I'm just smiling, Louis. So sorry to interrupt you. I'm just smiling kasi when you mentioned these exchanges, just one light bulb moment. Most recently, SEC filed a case against Consensus. They were served a Wells notice, and I heard Uniswap, if I'm not mistaken, USAC. I mean, they're putting their hands everywhere. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
do you see a
Here's
political play here? Do you see what's in the middle of this, Luis? Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, again, the SEC's job kasi is to protect consumers,
Sure.
diba? So they kind of take that to sometimes a crazy level.
Yeah.
Medyo wild yung ginagawa
Yeah.
nila eh. But they want to make sure that we are able to track where all of the money is. They want to make sure that they can keep the scams under control, stuff like that. And in order to do that, they have to have control over these decentralized wallets and exchanges also. Ngayon, here's the difference, no? And yeah, I did read about how MetaMask was being served notice, and
Yeah.
then also Uniswap. Even if those two brands get shut down, the code that runs them kasi is completely open source. So that means that someone can just create another Uniswap. You'll never run out of ways to trade or store your crypto. Posibleng mamatay yung brand name na nakasanayan natin, pero the actual underlying software is always going to be out there because it's free. To begin with, it was free, it was open source, anyone can make their own version of it. Nagkataon lang that MetaMask was one of the first ones, that's why it became very popular. Same thing with Uniswap. It became one of the most popular decentralized exchanges because they were one of the biggest, they were one of the fastest to grow. But if you wanted to, you could make your own. You just have to, do the work of reaching enough people so that more traders will use it and stuff like that. Pero hindi mo masastop yung ganon kasi it is purely open source software. So that's what makes this stuff more resilient, I guess. And unfortunately, regulators are gonna have to kind of accept na there are certain things na hindi nila makokontrol talaga.
Right.
And I guess that's one of them.
And it's probably gonna be on a different guesting na lang, no? Kasi I want to talk to you on other topics then. It's quite interesting kasi if I remember correctly, Judge Filia have made a decision on Coinbase. On the two cases, yung Coinbase exchange, they kind of agreed with the SEC, pero yung Coinbase wallet, hindi niya sinabi na wala akong nakikitang ways or means for a company to run assets there. It's merely a user interface from a wallet perspective. And I remember, nung lumabas yung decision na yon, hours after, Department of Justice moved millions of Bitcoin, part of the Silk Road. No? So parang iba-iba yung definition, obviously, from a judge perspective. Meron na although iba yung circumstances for Coinbase, but at least merong konting linaw that those wallets are not necessarily a company run, there's no commercial discussions. Hindi ka makikita dyan. It's merely just a third party wallet, so to speak, right?
Yeah. Actually, one of the things that makes me feel a little bit more optimistic about all this is that at least we are challenging these old ideas. The thing about crypto kasi is because it's kind of this new idea, it's very very game changing. A lot of the old laws, a lot of the old regulations, medyo mahirap to just apply them in their entirety onto this new idea. So as crypto becomes more and more evolved, we start to challenge the edges, the limitations of the existing laws. And eventually, I think what will happen is you'll have to make new ones. So with every new technology naman, ganun talaga yung nangyayari. So like when we invented the internet, there was no real laws about
There's no cyber
copyright.
law, cyber libel, right?
Yeah. A lot of laws had to be written because it was suddenly more important that we adjust to this new technology. So I think we'll have the same with crypto. I guess yung unfortunate thing with crypto is because it is money, the kind of political interests around it are a little bit more. It can get very messy, no? Kasi you're talking potentially about the fortunes of certain people, right? There are literally countries now that have Bitcoin in their treasuries.
That's
so,
right. That's
diba,
right.
parang medyo ibang level na yung yung usapan eh. Yung internet kasi, you could kind of argue na this is all about information. And sure, information is very valuable. Pero yung crypto kasi pera na talaga yung pinag-uusapan natin. Ito na yung parang bedrock of society. So it's gonna take some time, I think. It's gonna be very exciting. I'm a fan of like watching all of these unfold, because to me, every new year where Bitcoin is still legal, where cryptocurrencies are still legal, it is a win. And that means that we are moving forward. We are continuing to be more and more adopted by the mainstream.
All right.
Okay. And of course, I mean, I'm just trying to be optimistic about it. There's many other ways to think about this then.
Right. So it's now also a good segue to kind of ask you. So with all of the things that's happening ngayon sa Pilipinas, medyo makulay na ang world ng crypto. Obviously, ang tumaas na ang price ng Bitcoin 2023, now 2024, although may little bit of consolidation. No? I would like to ask lang, Luis, obviously, let's focus now, or I want to put my question on Gcash. And GCrypto, you're representing GCrypto. So, what are the things that, siguro, isang tanong muna pala before ka tanongin yung nakalista ko dito sa aking listahan. GCrypto, do you guys feel you're walking on eggshells with SEC in Pilipinas? Kamusta kayo with SEC?
Yeah. So okay. The thing about any large corporation in the Philippines is that they tend to outlive administrations. No. So Ayala Corp has been around 90 years. I mean, there are many. You can name the companies that have been around for a lot. The SM Group has been around for decades and decades. They will outlive any political administration. They will outlive the sitting commissioner in any regulatory agency. So what does that mean? The relationship needs to be a lot more long-term focused. So hindi kayo magsisiraan in public, right? Because you know that these relationships need to be maintained over many years. So I wouldn't say that we're walking on eggshells, but I will say that we value these relationships very much. So that means that we kind of have to, we both have to be careful, no? So the SEC wants to be careful about how heavily they impact these corporations, because I mean, these corporations have literally millions and millions of Filipino customers. So, you have to kind of weigh all of these things in. So it's a complex conversation. Would we ever oppose the SEC? I mean, there's not a lot of reason for us to ever want to do something like that, because again, we're trying to make sure that this relationship will last decades. So yeah, I would say that we're careful for sure.
All right. Can you discuss, Luis, anything new? Obviously, to your point, crypto overall has evolved. Sa GCrypto ba, are you guys planning to evolve services, features in relation to cryptocurrency trading? Or even, I think the famous question in the chat room right now, are you guys going to do derivatives in GCrypto? Please go ahead.
Okay, so I've been with GCrypto for 6 months now, so I'm still kind of new to the job. I will answer the question of, are we going to continue improving? Yes, for sure, 100%. We've got a very long roadmap of new features that we're going to add. I'm not supposed to talk about the biggest ones yet.
May mo kami ng konting scoop lang, Luis, for the Miranda.
So, I mean, we're definitely going to list more of the coins in the top 50.
Okay.
And as you were pointing out earlier, medyo kulang, no, yung listings namin ngayon. Hindi siya ganun karami. Now, I have some very, very strong opinions. I mean, they didn't hire me because I was just not gonna have an opinion. They hired me because I do have an opinion about these things. I don't want to keep listing these meme coins that are just coming up out of nowhere, no? So in the Solana world, medyo marami yan, like literally every weekend. Sobrang, diba, parang isang weekend lang sila malakas, and then suddenly they're gone because there's some other new meme coin that's being listed in their place. I don't want to do that, because the biggest mission of Gcash is financial services for all. So when we say all, we mean all of the Filipinos out there. I don't want to make meme coins that are going to go to zero available to all Filipinos. That seems irresponsible. So I don't want to do that. I do want us to, sige, go ahead, but I'll just finish my sentence. I do want us to be able to show at least yung top 50.
Okay.
Because if you start to become more acquainted with crypto, yung journey mo is usually the same as most people. You'll start with Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Right.
And then you start going down that list, you start realizing, actually, ang dami pala, no? And each one of these coins have their own special thing going on. And then as you explore that, you kind of go down the list of the top 50. So my goal, I think, is to get us at least to at parity. I want to have all of the top 50. And that's gonna take some time because we list them one at a time. So
So going on that thought process, adding more coins, meron ba kayong next step to kind of change the user interface to make it look like an exchange with charts, you know what I mean? Not just like a very plain, I know Gcash kasi parang very plain lang, those kind of widgets, what have you. But please go ahead. Meron bang plans, Luis?
So we want to make it more useful for sure. Now, there's a certain type of person kasi, and kasi coach, kasi yung community mo is very much a trading community.
Sure. Yeah.
Naghahanap kayo ng charts, I'm sure. Right? Naghahanap kayo ng charts, naghahanap kayo ng order book. Yung Gcash's main customer base is a little bit more like the Philippines itself, in the sense that there's a lot of people who don't really care about order books. They don't really know much about, like, I'm pretty sure that if you gave tradingview.com to your average Filipino, they will not know what to do with
They'll
it,
tune
right?
out. Once they see the candles, I don't know what's that.
Yeah, exactly. Diba? Kasi like, honestly, your average person doesn't even think in terms of candlesticks. Ang iniisip nila yung line chart eh. Kasi yun yung mas madali mag-gets eh. So, we have to take that into account when we design any product, not just GCrypto. We have to always take into account na yung users namin are a little bit more like the average person. So, ano yung mga gagawin namin? We'll probably put in more tools for checking your profits and losses, right? So yung mga gains and losses mo, yung mga indicators like that. But we'll probably never do an order book.
Okay.
We're most likely going to stay with what we have right now, which is an RFQ system, meaning may quotes lang siya. There's a price, there's a quote, you say yes or no. And this is similar to yung convert page sa Binance, no? Or if you're using Decentralization, it's the swap page. Yeah. So, ganun lang yung gagawin namin. But we will continue to add tools that are useful for, people like you guys. But I'm not sure whether we'll ever get to the point where we will do order books talaga. Kasi medyo ano na yan eh. That's a very advanced feature. Although, probably for your community, they just kind of expect that kasi advanced na kayo eh.
Yeah. So Luis, kanina, I just want to go back to your thoughts earlier na obviously, from if I'm reading between the lines, you're saying that you're going to list, at least within the top 50 coins, and you're rationalizing kung ano yung ipapasok, which tells me you're going to vet anong types of coins. Are you guys in a liberty to tell us at least high level what are those criteria would be? Liquidity, volume, use case. Are you guys in a liberty to share to our community today? Ano yung mga factors na yun? Please go ahead.
Yeah. So we care about utility.
Okay.
We care, like, is this thing actually used for anything, or is it literally just something that you bet on? And a lot of the meme coins kasi fall into that latter category, no? Parang wala naman silang actual purpose. It's just we want to bet on crazy things. Yung ang hinahanap namin parati is may use ba itong token na to for anything other than just being bought and sold. So we're looking for utility tokens, governance tokens. So when you talk about governance tokens, kasi they represent the mind share or the equity of that project. And that's enough for us. We're definitely looking for market cap. So is the market cap of a certain size? We're looking for parang average daily volume. Kasi and this one's kind of obvious, no? Kasi like, why would you list a coin na wala naman masyadong volume? It doesn't make sense. Like, you had, again, this is in terms of priorities. We only have a certain number of people in our office. We only have a certain amount of tokens that we can list. So we want to prioritize the ones na ginagamit, right? Now, I'll say something though about meme coins in general. Kasi hindi naman porke meme coin ito doesn't always mean that we don't want to list it now, because we have Doge, we have Shiba, so those are kind of very large meme coins. Will we ever have Pepe or one of the other largest ones? WIF is actually quite large right now, possibly, but it's not a high priority.
Okay.
I think yung high priority namin is buuin muna namin yung top 50. But you know what? I mean, I could by tomorrow, Whiff could be in the top 50, and then I have to change my mind, right? So you never know.
Right. So good points. I'm actually taking down some notes here. Another question from the community is, and this is a common theme on my many questions. Medyo mahal daw ang inyong ang fees, no? Talk to us about that. Any insights on that fees, Luis?
Yeah. So the fee structure in GCrypto is definitely on the high side. I'm not even gonna try to argue with that. It is definitely on the high side. It could definitely be lower than that. Now, there are a couple of things that we need to let's accept first that one of the reasons why a company like Binance can have very, very low fees is because they literally have half of the world's trading volume in their order book. No, so there is so much efficiency that you can get pag kalahati ng mundo yung gumagamit sa'yo.
Right.
In the case of Gcash, that's not the case. No, that's not half of the world using the GCrypto exchange. We don't have that kind of level of efficiency. The other thing also that you have to remember is Binance was never paying taxes in the Philippines. They were not a Philippine company. None of the fees, none of the regulations that the Philippine government imposes on us were ever imposed on Binance. So even if the only thing that you care about is VAT, yung 12% VAT, wala namang VAT sa Binance eh. We have to pay VAT on everything that we earn. So marami kaming costs, and those costs are the costs of being a legitimate Philippine business.
Right.
So meron talagang may impact talaga sa price yan eh. I'm not saying that we can't reduce our costs. What I am saying is that it will take time because we need to hit certain volume before we can do that. And if you're keeping track, GCrypto is actually the youngest of all of the local crypto exchanges. No, so kami yung pinaka last na nag-launch. So we're still working on it. And I imagine a future, at least I hope so. No, I imagine a future where we will have enough trading volume na kaya ko nang i-compress yung prices namin, babaan yung prices namin na hindi na affect so much yung kita ng company. Because again, even if we say things like, we believe in financial services for all and all of that stuff, Gcash and GCrypto are still businesses that need to make money in order to stay alive. So that's kind of where we're at. No, we're trying to balance all of these things. But yes, totally acknowledge na may kamahalan nga yung fees namin. And what I can promise to everyone is that we're working on it. We're going to try to make it as affordable as possible. But please do be patient with us because it's gonna take time. Hindi siya immediate.
Economies of scale, no? Pag dumami, then you can, do some flexibilities out there, right? So another question from the community, Luis, is meron bang plano na magkaroon ng staking sa loob ng GCrypto? Diba? May mga ganyan na no? So anong plano natin dyan? Is it in the pipeline or in the radar, Luis?
So, I mean, it's definitely on the radar in the sense that we are very aware of it. But here's my answer to that. At the moment, the securities law here in the Philippines, as written by the SEC, does not allow us to offer staking products unless they approve it. Kasi ang staking product, this is what we call it's a yield-bearing it's a yield-bearing instrument, meaning pwede mo siyang pagkakitaan. That falls under the securities definition ng SEC. And we've already seen in the past what the SEC does when you launch these yield-bearing products, these interest-bearing products na hindi ka nagpaalam. They don't like it. No? So that's kind of one of the reasons why we haven't done it yet. We would need to get approval for it. That is not a simple thing to do if especially with staking, no? Kasi like, can you imagine? It's different kasi pag pag sinabi mo na pag nag-deposit ka sa CIMB Bank or sa BPI or something, meron kang 3 to 5% per annum na interest rate. That is a very well-known, very well-understood mechanism. People understand how that works. The SEC definitely understand how that works. But I'm it will take some time to explain to them how proof of stake works
Right.
or how staking rewards works, and
Pero
is
you
that
would
safe?
imagine pag this is something that Filipinos are aware, no? I mean, this is just me talking. I would rather put it on staking than in mga casino, online.
Oh
Mas
yeah,
maraming
yeah,
mas
I agree
maraming
with you.
sugal ngayon no?
I totally agree with you.
Right. I mean, you're right kasi I mean, just on the Howie tests, the third item is if there was an expectation of profit and there was an
Yes.
investment of money, it automatically becomes a security. Therefore, it needs to be regulated.
Correct.
Diba?
Yeah, and so staking falls under that definition, and that's why we can't necessarily just offer it out of nowhere. No, we have to be careful about stuff like that.
Sabi ni Tech and DIY, is there a future plan to support more network when transferring crypto from other exchange?
We always try to add more networks if it makes sense. So the one example I can give na medyo recent was we added Tron to USDT because we saw that so many people were using it. No? And I think that because of that, I think it might be one of our leading coins right now, yung USDT on Tron network, because mas mura nga yung transactions niya. So yeah, we do that. We have Ronin, that's the other network that we support. So yeah, it kind of depends on the requests of the customers also. That's how we
Interesting.
kind of decide what to prioritize.
Yeah. So at this point in time, I know that we have learned so much. Even personally, I've learned a lot from you, Luis, in this very short amount of time. We're nearing top of the hour. I just want to kind of ask lang some good, refreshing questions, from someone like you who's been in this space for quite some time. So knowing you've been here for like 9 years, a little over 9 years or 10 years,
Yeah.
how do you how does a Luis you have a book, you have different engagements. What do you do to neutralize the crypto? Kumbaga Tagalog is ano yung ginagawa mo to kind of let go pag sobrang nakakaburyong kasi minsan ng crypto, di ba? Parang sobrang
Yeah.
puro crypto araw-araw na lang. What do you do to kind of break the ice, so to speak? I think that's the right word.
Absolutely. In the last 5 years, I've become very, very conscious of my health and fitness.
Okay.
And that's kind of because medyo tumatanda na rin ako, and I started to notice na when you do one of those late nights that you party until 3 in the morning,
Wala na.
medyo hindi na pala kaya, no?
Oo.
And I started noticing that my back would start to hurt at very unexpected times. Yung tipong may nahulog ka on the floor and then you reach down to pick it up.
True.
Na parang pagtayo mo, parang, oh, wow, that felt weird, right? So I've become very aware of my health and fitness. So now I exercise 7 days a week. I'm in the gym at least 1 hour every day. And I'm trying to do some, parang the exercises that I am focusing on are all about body weight, meaning when you're doing things like powerlifting kasi or bodybuilding kasi, you tend to just think about how much more weight you can lift, no? Parang it's all about that. When you do body weight fitness, you care a lot about your own body's weight. And all of the exercises that you do are related to yung weight mo. So pull-ups, things like that will really reveal to you kung malakas ka kasi or baka malakas ka lang pero hindi mo mabuhat yung sarili mo. Di ba? Ganun. Yun yung that's what that's for. So hindi mo pwedeng dayain kasi kailangan yung strength mo and your weight are in balance in order to kind of do these types of exercises. Ayun, and that's kind of one of the things I do the most of recently. But other than that, I mean, I love still watching interesting movies. I was in the Incubus concert last night in Araneta, so but I still do things like that. And I've got 3 amazing Shiba Inu dogs here to keep me company. And then I've got my wonderful girlfriend who talks to me about things that are not crypto related. So yun yung pang-balance ko, I guess.
Nice. And do you think that's important, Luis, to kind of balance?
Oh,
No.
For sure. I actually consider physical fitness to be the same as mental health in terms of yung priority niya for the average person. Because I've found that I think very, very clearly pag galing ka sa gym, medyo pagod ka, but you think very clearly because your mind is, I guess you don't tend to be distracted by things. You're able to focus more. And I always advocate for sleeping early.
Yeah.
Try to sleep early, wake up early. Because look, I mean, when we actually start staring at those charts and those order books, we need to be able to make good decisions eh. Kasi pera natin yung pinag-uusapan natin eh.
Right.
Right? Could potentially, if you make a mistake, could potentially cost you quite a lot of money. Now, what you want to do is you want to think clearly, you want to make good decisions, but at the same time, you also want to be emotionally stable enough. Now, if it turns out that the decision was wrong, you are okay with that. And I find that having good balance across all of the different things I've just talked about, your health, your fitness, your social relationships, your sleep, things like that, it all contributes to yung emotional stability mo as a trader.
Right.
And that's why I think that this is really important.
Right, and as they say, health is wealth as well. No, you want to
for sure.
preach, wealth accumulation. You also talk about health. No, kasi that's part of what we do. On that note, ang dami pa sanang tanong, but I'm happy we're seeing some all-time high numbers for our guests, audience rather, in our episode for tonight. Maraming salamat mga kamiranda. Sana hindi matapos dito parang bitin eh, no? Ang dami ko pa sanang tanong, pero we need to cap our discussion, Luis. Sana maulit. Sana magkaroon ng part 2. I wanna ask next time is more about insights on some of the technologies, tokenomics, layer 2s, ZK EVMs. Sure. Ang dami ng bago, to your point, 'di ba? Na layer 2s, ang daming permutations, risk taking, most recently nagkaroon ng, 'di ba, the risk taking issue na nangyari nung nakaraang araw. Daming permutations, in my personal opinion is some of them are created to make it more centralized. Nagiging centralization for me rather than decentralization. But we'll definitely pick your brains on that on the next showing. At this point, 2 questions na lang, if you don't mind. No?
Sure.
All right. Gaano daw kalaki ang Bitcoin mong hawak ngayon? Sabi nung Miranda.
I don't even know how to answer that. I think
Pwede mong sabihin na sa GCash lang lahat. Kaya magawa na sila ng account sa GCash.
I'll say this. I don't feel like I have enough.
Oh.
And actually, this is a good story pala. If we have like mga 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I'll
go
just
ahead,
do
please. Yeah, please,
story,
go ahead.
So a lot of people think that just because I started so early, ang dami kong naipon na Bitcoin. But the thing about like 10 years ago, wala akong pera nun eh. So I'll tell you this, naabutan ko yung 10,000 peso Bitcoin. This was in January of 2015, right? So it dropped that day to $180, roughly 10,000 pesos. So naabutan ko yun. And even then, I could not afford to buy one. I think I bought half, And then over the next few years, inuunti-unti ko lang siya. I would dollar cost average the Bitcoins that I have. But then I wasn't in a financially stable state, like because of the various challenges of having a startup, a young business.
Yeah.
Hindi ko ma-stabilize yung personal finances ko. So sometimes I'd have to go na several months na hindi ko mabayaran yung sarili kong sweldo because there were so many challenges with our company. And because of that, I had to keep selling off the Bitcoins that I had. So yeah, sure. I experienced the $200 Bitcoin. I experienced the $1,000 Bitcoin. But I was also selling it. I sold the 3,000. I sold the 5,000. So I do have some left. I have a little bit left, but I don't feel like I have enough. No one ever feels like that I have enough.
Right. I would agree.
Normal.
I would agree. 100%.
That's normal.
100%.
So parang even if you are only starting out right now, trust me when I say that you and I both feel that we don't have enough Bitcoin. I think that is a universal truth.
And especially if the price skyrockets, no? Parang, come on, I want more.
Yeah. Ganun eh. Ganun siya talaga. But maybe that's good, no? Maybe it's good. So ayun, sorry. So that's it. That's my
Yeah.
long answer to that
Yeah.
question.
All right. On that note, I would like to give you the floor for any last few words for our community. Invite them to use GCash and any other announcements. And please end the statement by saying, "I love you 3,000, Kamiranda." All
I
right. Go
got
ahead.
it.
Floor is
Yeah,
yours.
sure. Guys, thank you so much for watching tonight. I know it's a Friday night. I wasn't actually sure if there was going to be a lot of people watching on a Friday night, but it turns out there's actually quite a few that were interested in what we had to say. So for that, I am very, very grateful. I've been doing this for a while now, and I always love when people ask tough questions because it shows to me that nagmamature na rin yung crypto community natin dito sa Pilipinas. So I always feel very grateful for that. I'm honored to be here with Coach Miranda. If you like what you heard here, please follow me on Facebook. Hello, Luis, or Luis Buenaventura. You can find me pretty easily. But try not to follow the fake accounts because there are a few of those, unfortunately. Sorry for that. And if you want to, no pressure, but if you want to, you can check out GCrypto inside your GCash app. There's nothing to install. It's already there. It's the easy and most convenient way to get into crypto for the first time if you haven't already. Although, given this audience, I'm pretty sure you guys have been in crypto for a while now, and you've got one of the coolest coaches here teaching you. Thanks so much, everyone. I love you, 3,000, Kamiranda.
Woohoo! Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Alright, actually, talagang ang daming nagpapahabol ng question na to. Pasensya ka na, Luisa. Just one last question. I'm going to nitpick the question here. Kasi on the past couple of live na meron ako, medyo napag-usapan kasi namin, especially going forward to the midterm election in the Philippines. So, I don't want to put you on the spot, no? One of the names that came out, kasi pinag-iisipan ng wild ideas, na bakit kung ang mga atleta merong party list, mga simpleng marginalized community may party list, bakit wala daw party list ang mga crypto, virtual, digital enthusiasts, especially legal clarity, to your point, parang kulang yung batas ngayon, no? So baka kailangan magkaroon ng party list. And they're bubbling up your name.
Oh no.
No,
Okay.
bubbling up your name. Siguro, thoughts on the idea of a party list? Is it, are we in a mature state today? Number 2, is there a need? And number 3, what's your thought of you becoming a
Okay,
congressman?
so easiest answer to that is, yeah, sure. I do think that crypto needs representation. Yeah, sure. I don't think we even have to discuss or debate that one. I think that's kind of obvious. What are my thoughts on the party list system? I think it's a very challenging thing to get into. We actually did a little bit of research on this a few years ago kasi we were overwhelmed by how hard it was actually to pull it off. And I do think that I was born at the tail end of martial law. And then when I still remember parang being about 4 or 5 years old on my dad's shoulders, then we were looking at EDSA and there were tanks going down EDSA. Parang, there's a certain amount of fear in me when we talk about politics. Now, I guess it's something to do with my childhood, no? I'm not sure that I'm the right person for anything like that. But I do think that maybe cryptocurrencies don't necessarily need me to be in that role. I kind of think about myself more as an educator kasi I guess we're kind of similar, Coach, na parang I would rather teach people how to use it. The thing about crypto naman kasi is the more you understand of it, the more you realize that it's a way to sometimes detach yourself from the political system. Kasi now yung pera mo hindi na manage ng gobyerno eh, 'di ba? Yung assets mo potentially baka hindi na sila yung nagma-manage or nagko-control kasi nalalabas mo siya eh. You take it out of the system. So there's a part of me that I feel like maybe that's enough na that I just help people learn how to use it for themselves.
And could be an advisor on whoever this guy or girl is.
Yeah,
Di ba?
yeah. I mean, I'm open to the idea of a party list. I'm just not sure I'm supposed to be on it. Yun lang.
No, 100% I'm on the same boat with you. Sinasabi ko nga sa mga Miranda, I'm an educator, I'm not a politician. And we probably have
Right.
seen each other in EDSA during those days because, my family live in San Juan and,
Okay,
we're a
there you
stone's
go.
throw away from Krame. No, so alam ko,
Yeah.
when the tanks were there. Anyways, on that, maraming salamat talaga, Luisa. And sana maulit, sir. No, thank you. And marami pong salamat.
Thank you so much. This was great. I had so much fun. I hope everyone found it useful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Luis, I'll talk to you offline over chat. Maraming salamat, sir. You can take your rest. Good night. Thank you. Alright, ayun. Ako, ang ganda ng ating episode. Kung may natutunan kayo kahit paano, please type number 1 naman, no? At huwag kalimutang mag-like kasi alam ko, marami pa ako magiging guest na. Naku, ang galing talaga ng guest natin, no? I'm very happy and I'm very proud. Thank you again, Sir Luis Buenaventura, the Assistant Vice President of GCrypto in GCash, no? For those very insightful conversations. Marami po ako natutunan, mga Kamiranda. Kung gusto nyo part 2 sa mga team replay, mag-comment kayo ng part 2. Paparating ko po kay Luis yan. No? And always a good discussion to have someone, as insightful, no? Yan kasi matatagal na talaga sa crypto yung mga yan, Kamiranda. So marami pong salamat sa inyo pong insight, no? Kamiranda, couple of things lang from Coach Miranda Minor, no? Makinig po kayo mabuti, no? So itong market na ito, wala po tayong actually there are 2 FAs today, no? One is good, one is bad, no? From a tech perspective, maganda po. From a tech perspective, maganda po ang takbo. Lumabas po yung mga tech figures, yung P&L, yung quarterly earnings ng Meta, ng Alphabet, ang gaganda po. Therefore, ang ganda po ng Nasdaq. So, dapat hinihila niya si Bitcoin. Number 2, meron po mga negative FAs, particularly on SEC, nagpaparamdam, mga pahabol effect nila, mga pabaon kay Gensler, no? Kasi paalis na si Kuya Gensler, pahabol, they serve a Wells notice, no? And so on and so forth. So, hati po ang optics ngayon, mga Kamiranda. So, ano ba gagawin natin pag hati ang optics ng market? Hati po ang FA. Then we do technical analysis, no? And especially if you are doing technical analysis, kapag ang market po ay gumagawa ng mga consolidations, yan po ang karaniwang mahirap na i-navigate, no? Type number 1, kung minsan or kadalasan ikaw yung hirap na hirap pag nagko-consolidate ang market because minsan nakala mo bias for short, biglang umaakyat, and eventually you become a trader of the candle, not a trader of the trend. Pag ganyan ka, Miranda, look for key levels, no? Look for key levels. Ikulong po ninyo sa triangles, rectangles, yung equal highs and equal lows or your consolidations. And then, papasok lang kayo pag may mga malalaking binasag ng trends. Hayaan nyo lang ang market. There is a time when you don't trade. If you wanna do a short, make sure na naka-TLSBD yung coin, no? At malayo pa siya sa bounce point. If you wanna go on long, make sure tama po ang trend lines ninyo. Kasi kadalasan, nilolong ninyo, mali ang trend line. Mali. Ang nangyayari na iipit kayo because biglang nagko-correct yung coin. Type number 1 kung naranasan nyo na yan. So gagawin po natin, Kamiranda, ikukulong nyo po sa malaking mga triangles and rectangles yung coin price natin. Ganun po nangyayari pag dalawa po ang FA natin magkasaliwa, no? Therefore, the market becomes indecisive. Ang problema ng isang beginner trader, kung kailan pa indecisive ang market, doon ka pa nagpapaubos ng pera mo.
Ikaw ay nakikinig kay Coach Miranda Minor sa Daily Crypto Live.
So let's make sure we practice that, no? Sa amin pong members live, meron po kaming araw-araw na charting, care of Mentor Nel. Pwede kayo mag-join dyan to give you guidance, no, on what's happening, yung technical analysis ng mga coins. Araw-araw po yan, 10:00 po ng umaga. If you are an alumni of our university, you get free technical analysis in our Discord channels on Monday, Wednesday, and of course on Friday, meron po tayong mentee follow-up na libre dyan, no? And then tomorrow, Miranda, wala po tayong live because I'm flying to the United States. I'm gonna be in New York and in New Jersey tomorrow, no? So technically alas 11 na po ng umaga ng linggo ay nasa US na po tayo, no? Ako po ay magla-live, no? I'm going to do my live at the Wall Street, no? I'm going to do my live at the Wall Street and I'm going to ako po ay magla-live diyan sa ano yung sikat na stock market, Miranda. So abangan nyo po, Miranda, yung ating live diyan in the United States. So, yan. In the meantime, yan po ang mangyayari tomorrow. Ako po ay may flight. I'm gonna be in NAIA Terminal 1. Kung kayo po ay nagtatrabaho sa aeroplano, magkita-kita tayo dyan sa NAIA Terminal 1. I'm gonna be in Philippine Airlines flight, no? Direct flight po yan, long haul flight to New York. Tomorrow, alas 7 po yung aking flight ng gabi. I'm gonna be there ng gabi po sa US. Technically, alas 11 na po ng umaga sa atin. So technically mga 18 hours flight, no? 18 hours flight yan, Miranda, na medyo mahirap pero kakayanin natin. This is not our first time for a long haul, no? But this is the first time na sobrang haba because normally like last time I was in Toronto, ako po ay nag-stop over pa sa Vancouver. So meron kaming stop over and then change of airline, then lipat kami ng another aircraft from Vancouver to Toronto and then Montreal. This time dire-diretso po tayo, no, from Manila to the to New York, no? So I'm going to meet some Mirandas diyan, tatrabaho din po tayo. But more importantly, I'm gonna be meeting my family, relatives diyan in the United States. Papahinga po tayo ng konti pero mag-i-enjoy tayo, no? Pero wag kayong mag-alala, I'm going to continue to give guidance to our community. Medyo konting pahinga lang si coach ng konti after how many years, no, ng tuloy-tuloy na pagla-live. Pahinga lang tayo ng konti because we somehow, sabi ko nga, sana ma-deserve ko naman tong break na to. Pero wag kayong mag-alala, iinggitin ko kayo ng ating gagawin dyan sa New York. Iinggitin ko talaga. Inggit na inggit talaga kayo kasi dyan ako magti-trade sa may malaking kalabaw. Magti-trade ako sa Wall Street. Pupunta ako yung Statue of Liberty. Pupuntahan ko dyan what's this? Yung Niagara Falls, di ba? Marami puntahan. Inggit-inggit. Ha? Alright, hey, just kidding, no? But basta, wag po kayo mag-alala. I'm gonna be with you pa rin. Kahit po, yan po kagandahan ng social media. I can go live. Kaya binili ko nga ito, no? Bumili ako ng bagong gamit. Bumili ako ng bagong iPad. Kailangan kong bilhin to kasi nadadala ko to, no? Madadala ko na to. Makakapag-live na ako. Makakapag-live na tayo, Miranda. Kasama tong iPad for extension. So, thank you again. Thank you Bitcoin sa pa-iPad mo. 'Di ba? Alright. Ayan. Alright. May nagtatanong kung business class flight daw ba ako. Pagbalik ko, business class. Papunta doon, hindi ako naka-business, no? Pagbalik po, I'm gonna be in business class. But going there, I'm actually on economy. Yung sumunod, di ba may business, may economy flex, tapos yung economy, doon ako sa gitna. Yan, para... Okay? Kung may mga makakilala sa akin, magpa-picture ko. Picture din ako sa inyo, ha? Alam nyo na. Okay? Bisitahin mo si Gensler, iyaan mo magkape. Pupuntahan ko talaga yung si Gensler. Maghahanap talaga ako ng picture niyan ni Gensler. Pa-picture ako kay Gensler. No? Alright. Akala mo uy, grabe ka naman, Bernie. Paraffle agad no? Mag-uwi ka ng GF. Uwi tayong GF. Sige. Salamat po. Salamat. Ayan. Okay. Red envelope. Sige, before ako mamalis bukas. Pag akit ko, padala ko niyan. Alright. Okay. Hindi ako ayoko sa Israel. Huwag naman dun kayo talaga. Huwag naman dun, Miranda. Huwag nyo pahirapan dun. No? Alright. Pati si Damon. Alright. Ikaw talaga. Ikaw talaga, RC. Mama RC, no? Alright, anyways, marami pong salamat sa inyo, Kamiranda. I love you 3,000. At again, ituloy nyo po ang pag-subscribe at pag-like at pagtutok. Promise, Kamiranda, in one of our live, magcha-charting na tayo. No? Miss ko ang charting, and I'm sure na-miss nyo rin ang guidance from Coach Miranda on technical analysis. Tutok lang kayo. I love you 3,000 at shalom. Hello mga Kamiranda, maraming salamat po sa inyo dahil tinapos yung ating content for today. Kung kayo po ay merong natutunan at tingin nyo ang inyong mga kapamilya, kamag-anak, kapuso, kapatid ay makikinabang sa ating content, please don't forget to click on like, subscribe, and of course, i-follow nyo na rin kami sa aming mga social media channels mga Kamiranda. Ito po ay makakatulong para we can further disseminate our content to the larger population. Muli, maraming salamat po. Shalom at I love you 3,000.
Subscribe